Hello, my name is Lynn, and I have depression. Life is a roller coaster when you have depression. My depression started at 18 when I lost my mother, Mary Eleanor Wardlaw Christopher, to a brain aneurysm that ruptured. She hemorrhaged to death. They treated it as a nosebleed because in 1991 there were no MRIs standardized in hospitals. Well, as time went on, I dealt, but it wasn't until I was in my late 20s when I was actually diagnosed with depression. I'd been picked on all throughout school. From the time I was in 3rd grade, new kid on the block. Even my cousins didn't like me. But that's okay. I got over it. However, just in 2008, my father, who was 20 years younger than my mom, she died at 58. At 55, he was diagnosed with a brain aneurysm in the exact same location as my mom. Luckily, technology has come a long way, and there are great neurosurgeons at McLeod General Hospital and Regional Hospital in Florence, and my dad was saved. I'm not sure exactly what year it was, but when my sister, technically my stepsister, was 38, she was diagnosed with breast cancer, stage 3. Everybody knows there's 4 stages of breast cancer, but I figured she was going to beat it. She was too mean to go anywhere. I was wrong. As big sisters sometimes do, she protected me from one fact. She told me she was in remission when she wasn't. It had spread to her ovaries and I didn't even know it. The less I saw her, the better, because if I had to be there, I had to acknowledge the cancer. And I just couldn't do that, because that would mean that I would acknowledge the fact that she may not be here one day. Well, last year, March 15th, 2011, at 10:09 p.m., she took her last breath. But 2 days earlier, she had took my hand before she had to leave to go to the hospital. It was a few hours before they had to call the emergency. She took my hand and told me she was sorry for leaving and sorry for everything. Nobody else knew what everything was, just me and her. Told me to watch out for her babies, talking about her twin daughters. Her older 2 were already on their way. Her eldest had signed up for the Marines, and her next to eldest had just given birth to her first daughter, and made my sister a grandmother for the first time, and she did get called her grandbaby. However, the twins were 16. And they had depression too, and they dealt with it the only way they knew how. Which is not my story. It's theirs. Respectfully. However, some things I know, some things I may not know. But one thing I know for sure is that depression can be brought on by traumatic experiences such as loss of a parent. Sometimes it starts even earlier Sometimes it starts when children bully you, name call you. People cope in so many different ways. And I don't care if you're a parent listening to this and you sit there and tell me to my face that you know your child, I can look you straight in the eye and tell you you don't. Because there's always going to be something that a child keeps from a parent, whether it's their pain, something bad they did, something that they just don't want you to know about. Sometimes it's being a victim. There's no boundary. But no parent knows their child that well. They may think they do. So as a parent them. But don't think for 1 minute you know them. You may, but then again you may not. And if you're a child, your parents may get on your nerves. But don't take them for granted because they may not be there tomorrow. Bullying has got to stop. And treating people that have depression as like we're an outcast has got to stop. That's a form of bullying too, in a way. People with depression, we can function normally. And most of us have smiles on our face. And you never know that you were depressed unless you were in our private environment at home. So I ask you today, take a step back. Think about depression. Think about bullying and how it affects anybody. There was a child that I knew talking about bullying. When he was on his first day of school at 5 years old, his family was afraid to send him on the school bus. His name was Cade. They weren't afraid because they thought he would get bullied. They were afraid because they thought he would be the bully. However, when a bully about 4 years older than him started talking a little, as we say, smack, I told him to back off. He didn't want to do that with Cade. And the boy kept on. He said something smart to me, and Cade looked to me like a big sister. Well, one right hook later, that bully never bullied another soul. So if you aren't a Cade and you're a kid, find a Cade. Have somebody that's going to back you up and help you out. Don't let bullying in. Don't be a doormat. Don't be a floor mat. You'll get through it. You'll find the right person. You look hard enough. There's a Cade in every school. Someone that's strong enough to take on a bully. Anyway, don't exactly have his permission to use his name, but I'm sure he won't mind the reflection on the story. However, back to the subject. Depression. Research it. Don't dismiss it. It's there. It's a disease. And sadly, too many people are afflicted with it. If you know somebody who you think is depressed, or you think that they could be endangering themselves, don't dismiss it. Don't look the other way. Talk to them. Get help. Because depression's not going to go away on its own. And neither is bullying. Take it from me, I was even bullied at work. That's okay. I don't work there anymore. Life is much too precious, so I'll leave you with this. Bullying and depression both can lead to suicide. However, suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary situation. I don't know who said it, but it's a good quote. Live courageously, love courageously, and step up. Don't look the other way when somebody's getting bullied. Help them. You don't know their story. And how will you know it unless you ask them?